Hi, everyone. This is Kathy Mason from MasonWorks Marketing, and I'm here today with Seta T again. And today we're going to talk about her amazing energy grids that she's created that are called Starlight grids. And I want, Seta, could you tell us a little bit about how they came to be and what they are used for, and anything else that you'd like us to know about them?
Um, hmm. Well, how they came to be was I don't even have a word for it. It was divine. I don't know how else to explain it. They actually came from bracelets. So one of the things that I do for my clients is I do intuitive work with crystals. And based on, whatever it is that's going on with them, I will intuit what they need and where on the body they need to go. And based on that, I will make them a custom piece, a bracelet, a necklace, or, whatever. And I've done this for years. And usually when I do them, the process is several hours for a single bracelet. The crystals have to come in, and they come in when I'm working with the client. But then when the client leaves and I'm actually doing the work, other things may come in. And then once I have it, then it's about laying out the design. So all of this takes time. And then, of course, they need to be cleared, energized, and activated. So that's a different process. But actually putting together the bracelet takes time. So it was one night I was home and I was getting ready for bed. It was 10 o'clock at night. And all of a sudden, I heard a word, and the word was clarity. And I got these crystals. And I knew right then I was supposed to make this clarity bracelet. Now, I want to say that I don't name my bracelets for my clients. I've never done that.
Oh,
So I sat down and I had no choice. I mean, it was like they were pushing me to do this. And I sat down and I created this clarity bracelet. While I was working on it, another word came in and more crystals. And then I started the second one. I mean, I felt like I was on this assembly line. I can't even explain it. And in the course of 3.5 hours, I created 10 bracelets,
wow.
which I can't do that now. So I know that there was something working through me. And these bracelets have been extremely powerful for my clients. These work a little bit differently. I don't get the crystals per se because they're already made. This is more about when people are in session, it's what they're drawn to and what's going on, and they'll know because they just reach out. So that's what happened first. And then a few months went by, and it was the same kind of thing where it was like I was being nudged, and I created the Starlight grids from the bracelets. That's the only way I know how to explain it. And that was a huge process too. That didn't happen in 3.5 hours. That took probably a couple of weeks for 10 of them to come through. And some of the crystals in the grids are a little bit different than the bracelets. There were additions to some of them. Some of them are the same. So as far as the grids themselves go, I do use them in my practice. And I will use them in combination with either the color light pen or the crystal healing work. So
How do you figure out which grids to use?
it's a knowing. I just know. So when the client comes in and we start talking first, because I always spend time with my clients talking to them, before I do anything. And as I'm talking to them, I'll hear it. I'll hear the name of the grids because they're named the same as the bracelets. So I'll hear it. And sometimes I'll get more than one. And so it's about discerning. And again, it'll just be about what's going on with the client. I've had one client so far where I actually used 2 grids in a session, and that was super powerful.
Wow.
But that hasn't been common so far. That might change. I don't know, but I have done that as well. And
I'm sorry.
no, it's fine.
Could you talk about, I think a lot of the magic that you have that I've experienced is that you charge every single crystal
Yes.
that you use with people. And
Yes.
that's so apparent when you even see a picture of these grids, that there's this incredible frequency that comes out, just emerges out of them. and I'm highly sensitive, so I just like I love them. I love them.
Yeah, people who are sensitive people will just walk into my office before anything. And we haven't done anything, but if they're sensitive, they feel it. I had a couple of women here last week who were here for a couple hours just to really talk and just get a sense of what I do. And several times in that couple of hours, they both said to me, I'm buzzing, I'm buzzing, I'm buzzing. Like they were just, yeah, and I didn't even do anything. It was just a conversation.
Well, it's probably the orchestra around you going, yay!
Well, yes. Yeah, and I want to go back to what you said about me charging them. I have had a relationship with crystals since I was a kid.
Right.
So this is something that comes very naturally to me. And I had somebody recently say to me, we know somebody who needs some healing work and we want to get some people together. Would you be willing to work as well and help? And I said, of course I would. And she said to me, there's somebody else there who works with crystals. You don't even have to bring anything. You can use hers. And it was a split second and we both looked at each other and we went, no. Because it's not just the bracelets or the grids. All of my tools that I use on, my clients, they have all been individually cleansed, energized, and activated.
Right.
As well as just the pieces that are just, sitting here for decorative purposes.
But they
get called into work too. If I'm working with somebody and, there might be a piece of amethyst that's just sitting on my cabinet, and that may want to come in and work. So that comes in at work. So there's really nothing in my office that's purely decorative.
Right. Well, and you have the bottles of the orosoma on the one side too.
Right. And they're always chattering too. Yeah. And when people walk in, even if they're not here for orosoma, they will light up because they think, oh, you've brought me somebody.
Well, I think they also, the healing atmosphere that you have created, even if it's virtual, is quite remarkable. That's part of what I just love about what you do, is this atmosphere creates peace. And there's so much stress in the world and so much bad news and all this, that, to have a place to go that is nurturing and creates this whole, I can be myself. It's like safe haven.
It
really
is
what you created.
And that's very intentional.
Yes.
That's intentional.
Fantastic. Well,
Yeah.
The other thing I wanted to ask you about is the work that you do with these incredible grids, the Starlight grids. I have the sense that they reinforce and make the energy work you do quite a bit more powerful and long lasting. Is that true? Okay.
Yeah. So the grids came forth back in December. So now I've been working with them for about 5 months. And they have elevated my work incredibly. The difference that I see, things are faster, things hold. The other thing that we've done is we've taken pictures of the grids, and they're on my website. You can buy them, but people need to know they're not just pictures. They've been activated themselves. So even though you don't have the actual crystals with you, they still carry the magic. And one of the things that I do is when my clients come in and I work with those grids, I will activate them specifically for the client. So at the end of the session, they take a picture of that grid rather than just taking it off the website because it's specific to them. And then they'll get instructions on how to work with that. So it's something that they take with them when they go. That's part of the session. It's not an extra charge or anything like that. I just include it in the session because it's one of the giveaways that they need to work with when they leave. Yeah. And, when I say work with, Kathy, understand too, this is not like an hour of your time. This is maybe 5 minutes of your time a day. And it's the feedback I've gotten is that it provides people with a sense of peace and calm because it gives them like a ritual, that they know is just for themselves, but it's not something they have to spend all this time on. So they can do it maybe in the morning before they leave, and it kind of sets the tone for the day. Or sometimes they do it in the evening after a really bad, stressed out day, and it brings them back to where they were when they left my office.
Yeah, I think everything that you're doing is stress to me is the number one reason people have chronic disease.
It is.
And if it, just the work that you're doing is like a stress buster. And
It
so
is.
I mean, it really is. And so I just want to encourage people to check out your website. Could you give them some more information how they could find you, Seta?
Sure. The website is my name, so it's setatashjian.com, which is not easy to spell, but I'm sure that when you have this video up, you'll have my name so people can find it. And, you know, I have all the offerings listed there so they can go in and they can take a look at each offering. I believe we've put videos on each page to help. There are some testimonial videos up there as well of people who've had actual experiences talking about, you know, what they've experienced. And then if you go into the shop, you're going to see all the grids, you're going to see the bracelets, and there are some crystals as well. And I do want to point out that the crystals also have been activated. So if you go and you buy kyanite from my website, it's not like buying kyanite from a crystal store. There's magic in it. So you're getting that as well.
Right.
You know, so I do want to point that out.
You want to have some of this magic. It's transformative without pain and sorrow. It'll release. There's a lot of grief going on now. There's a lot of people passing now. There's a lot of change, of drastic change going on now. And Seta's work could be the perfect thing that brings you through to the realization and the connection to your soul and to who you really are.
Well, you know, any change is disruptive. Even if it's good change, it's disruptive. So you want transformation, but you want transformation with ease
and grace.
And grace. So that's what I try to provide for my clients. You know, like if they come in and say, oh, this great thing is happening to me. Well, great, but there's still stress there.
Right.
You know, because when it's a good change, then people put all their hopes on it. And if something goes wrong, then it's even worse. You know what I mean? Like that letdown is even worse. Well, so I try to help them maneuver that through the work that we do. And then, like I said, once they leave here and they're going through whatever they're going through, they have that to carry through with them. So the sense of peace is always there. And that's probably the most common feedback I get.
And it's empowering. That's what, I mean, a lot of healers, you know, it's almost like going to a chiropractor. You got to keep going back and get cracked. This, because you are so giving and make sure that they have the supportive tools, they're empowered to choose to have a different experience, or have take stress as a learning experience rather than a victim experience. So Seta, is there anything else? I know you told me a story, but I don't know if you're comfortable talking about it. One of your clients, that their brother was very sick and was passing, and you used the grids and you used the tools. Could you share without sharing?
Yes, she called me and said that this was something she just found out about, you know, and her brother hadn't been well for a while, but it wasn't to this extent. They weren't expecting this. And she called me on a Thursday, I believe, or no, she actually called me on a Friday, and I got her in that day. I just moved things around and got her in. She came in here, and she was actually the one that I used the 2 grids on.
Oh, okay.
So she came in here, we did a full session, and then the following day she was traveling to go be with her brother. And I encouraged her to keep in touch with me throughout the process, and she was away for about a week. And in that week, unfortunately, he did pass. They thought that maybe he wouldn't, you know, he had surgery and all of that. But she was texting me every day. She was calling me every day or emailing or texting something. And she just kept saying to me, it's remarkable how calm I am through all of this, because her brother was significantly older than her. I think it was like a 15-year age difference, something like that. So she looked at him like an idol. You know, she said, I've idolized him my whole life. It was more than just a regular brother-sister relationship, you know? And she just said, you know, I've actually been able to be strong for his wife and for his kids. And she said, I didn't think I could be strong for myself, because she said 2 days prior to calling me, apparently she was a wreck for 2 days, crying. And I said to her, why didn't you call me earlier? She said, I couldn't even pick up the phone. Like, she goes, I couldn't even articulate. And it kept her together. So I did give her a picture of the grid. She had that and she used it. And, you know, it's been several weeks now since she's been back here in Denver. And I do hear from her occasionally. And she says, you know, there's other things going on in her life right now that are change. But she says, I've been able to stay grounded, you know, and that's been the biggest thing for her, that she was able to get through it.
Yeah, that is such a gift. Thank you so much. And thank you for explaining it, because lots of people are losing loved ones now. And it may just be the sign of the times, or it could be cancer. You know, there's just so much stuff going on, and you don't have to have that drastic of a stress issue.
No.
You just have difficulties with relationship in your office or your home, and need some energetic support. It's not just learning how to communicate verbally, it's energy.
No. And you know, that chronic low level stress that we all have, that's worse for you than anything else, because we've been conditioned to believe that that's a part of life and we just deal with it, and it's not.
No.
You know, it's really the cause of major diseases, in my opinion.
Right.
You know, and you can look back 100 years ago, and you can look back 150 years ago, and cancer didn't even exist.
Right.
So where did it come from?
Right. Right.
You know, and I have to believe that stress is a huge part of it, and we don't have to deal with it, and we don't have to accept that it's a part of life.
Right. Right. And the idea is, once you find your mojo, your joy, these tools will help you maintain it and create kind of a foundation for it. So by having grids or the bracelets or some of the incredible crystals, I mean, I am sensitive, so I hold one of these crystals and it's like it talks. It's quite amazing. And so Seta, you just have an incredible skill of working with the crystals. I don't want to call them rocks that talk.
They're okay. You can call them rocks. They don't care.
I do. I don't want it. Sorry, guys. But but anyway, so I think we should wrap up. But I wanted everyone to know, again, I'll put Seta's website in the comments below, so that you'll be able to go and learn a little bit more about her work. And I really encourage you, if you're going through stress, if you are in a business situation where it's just high stress all the time and you need relief, and you just really don't know what to do, Seta can really shift you fast. And she's a pro at that, at helping you reconnect to your soul, because if there's no joy in what you're doing, you're not connected to your soul.
And that's the bottom line, is reconnecting to the soul. If we can do that, then you are well on your way.
That's right. So great. Thank you, Seta. This was wonderful.
Thank you
so much. Really appreciate this time.
Thank you, Kathy.
See ya. Bye-bye.
Bye.